Okay, with the start of a new way of learning comes a new topic as well, and this is our last full topic for the prelim course. We've then got a couple of catch-up lessons to do, and then we'll be into revision for the exams. So the first lesson in this particular unit is units of time. So we're working with time this particular unit. There's some complicated stuff to come, but today's lesson is relatively basic. So we're just working with this idea of converting between different units of time, and we've got a nice little conversion chart there, but I think most of us are pretty comfortable with the idea that there's 60 seconds in a minute, there's 60 minutes in an hour, there's 24 hours in a day, and there's 365 days in a year. Just on that, unless the question specifies something about the year, like saying it's a leap year or it's not a leap year, you can just assume 365 days in a year. In all other questions. So obviously we've got the ability with the calculator to change between effectively decimal time and time as we know it. That can be really handy in certain circumstances if you've got to do calculations, or you might do a calculation that ends you up with, say, for instance, 15.3 hours, and you want to know what that is. So while this particular example here goes the other way, I'll start with that. Let's say I have 15.3 hours. I can just put that in and press equals, and I can press the degrees, minutes, seconds button, and it works also for hours, minutes, seconds. So 15.3 hours is 15 hours and 18 minutes. So it's doing the conversion there for us. And the example obviously up there is if I was to put in 5 hours, 12 minutes, and 33 seconds, making sure I press that degrees, minutes, seconds button after each one of those, and I press equals. I can then press the degrees, minutes, seconds, and it'll give me that as a decimal time, so 5.209 hours. This comes up more when we're doing calculations. We're going to end up needing a decimal representative of time to be able to do a calculation, or we're going to do a calculation and end up with time expressed as an amount of hours, and we can use our calculator to do the conversion. So moving on from there, we won't use the calculator so much for this. We're just going to convert, so 3 hours and 15 minutes. So quite simply, 3 hours equals 3 times 60 minutes, which is 180 minutes. So 3 hours, 15 minutes equals 180 plus 15, which is 195 minutes. And you can use your calculator for that if you want to. Converting 10,080 minutes to days. So 10,080 minutes divided by 60 is going to give us an amount in hours. So if we use our calculator there, I'll just move him to the side here. 10,080 divided by 60 gives me 168 hours. But we want to go to days, so 168 hours divided by 24 is going to give us an answer in days. So if I take that answer and divide it by 24, I'm going to end up with 7. So that's effectively a week is 10,080 minutes. So use your minutes wisely. You've only got 10,080 of them every given week. Importantly, I could have done that another way. So I'll just put a little or here. You could have just gone with 10,080 divided by 60 times 24. And that'll work out as well for you. So if you feel comfortable with that as a way of doing things, you can, but the way I first showed will work just the same. So this isn't a better or worse method, it's just a different method. But I'll just plug that into the calculator to show that it works out the same either way. All right, so moving on to the next one, we're going to talk about 24-hour time. So 24-hour time is used heavily in the military. You've probably seen it in action movies where the angry army sergeant is saying be ready by 0600 hours, but it's also used for airline travel and for timetables where confusion can happen over whether or not 8:15 means 8:15 in the morning or 8:15 in the evening. So we have 24-hour time. Hang on, I've just got to pause. So like I was just saying, 24-hour time is used just to remove confusion about whether or not a time is in the morning or in the afternoon. So we just have the day starting at midnight, which is expressed as 0000, and the last minute before the end of the day is 23:59. So generally, obviously the morning's relatively easy with 24-hour time. The time's just the same, but we lose the AM off the end. And usually we'd write, much like the example I gave before, it'd be written as 0600 hours, so 0600. So I'll just write that up here. So sort of 6 AM would equal 0600. We generally leave the O there. It's kind of a symbol that we're using 24-hour time. In the afternoon, however, all we've got to do is add 12 to the relevant time, or take 12 off if we're going the other way, to express our time as 24-hour time. So 8:15 plus 12 hours would give us 20:15. Okay. And going back the other way, we're taking 12 off. So 21:45, take away 12, will give us 9:45. And obviously in this case, we want to put the answer as PM, because we're going to more traditional time where it's expressed as AM and PM. We can also work out a little bit easier with 24-hour time the distances between two amounts of time, because we don't have to consider the break between AM and PM, and as well as that we can use our calculator. So if we had this example here, we wanted to go from, I'll just move that so I can see, 23 hours 15 minutes, take away 18 hours no minutes. I don't actually have to put the no minutes there, I can just leave it as 18 hours. But if you feel more comfortable, you can put the 0 minutes there, but it's not absolutely necessary. So we plug that into our calculator and we end up with 5 hours and 15 minutes, which makes sense. Between 6 o'clock and 11:30 is 5 hours and 15 minutes. I'll just copy that, and I'll just have to paste it out here. Oh. I'll just grab that and bring that in. So I'm leaving that on the spreadsheet, on the notebook, so you can see how that's done. Okay, so and I might just finish off there. Therefore, 5 hours, 15 minutes. So a lot of exercises there, but they're all fairly basic, and most of the exercises there, I'm only getting you to do some of those. So have a crack at those. I don't imagine that will take you a full hour. So not a bad way to start our online learning experience. I will post into Classroom when there's going to be Zoom sessions, but for this lesson, you just got to watch the video, answer the questions, and away you go. Good luck with that.